I'm happy to announce that Daniel Nahmod has a new album coming out in October. The album is called Real. This was written largely during the pandemic and recorded over the course of a full year. The songs of Real represent the next level of production, performance, poetry, and musicality. Daniel says, "There are moments in every one of our songs where I tried to say something, sang a note, phrased a lyric, played an instrument, changed the beat in an entirely new way for me. It was a little scary. This is music that took me places I've never gone before. It's been an intense, long, beautiful process to write and record this music, and it's been especially exciting to see the incredible response to my previews around the country and online." Here's some essential facts about the events of the live launch and LPs. Tickets are now available for the live release concert, which will be at the Unity Center of San Diego. You can also watch it streaming. It's slated for Sunday, October 16th, 2022, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. The link to buy the tickets will be in the Show More section of this YouTube video. Hello, everybody. Welcome to New Thought Musician Showcase. I'm your host, Jane Thornton. On this show, we play music videos and talk about them. What fun is that? We do this to showcase and promote New Thought artists. New Thought Musician Showcase is also a set of YouTube playlists. We're also an empowered licensee, and that means that we gratefully pay artist royalties that accrue through Empower. That's a great organization. It works for both consumers and licensees like venues, churches, and it also works for the artists. So check it out, Empower Music and Arts, a great business partner for the artists. So now let's get started with the first set. One with the Divine was written by Lynn Floyd and performed at CSL Reno in 2022. This song is very melodic and displays Gary's vocal range and piano-forward performance style. It's a beautiful statement of New Thought Oneness. I'm also going to play back-to-back with this rendering, One with the Divine by Lynn Floyd. I'm going to play back-to-back with The One Who Remembers by Deb Chamberlin. We had Deb Chamberlin on our August 2022 show, and it's the same thought and acknowledgement of the divine in expressing the oneness principle. This was a custom performance video recording that Deb did for me, including the lyrics, and I want to thank Deb Chamberlin. She goes by the Awakened Artist on YouTube, and links to her social media and video sites are in the published YouTube of this video. So let's watch these two songs, One with the Divine and One Who Remembers. The divine expressing, creating itself out of everything.
Dawn is breaking within you. Can you feel the promise of the morn? Your soul is waking to this moment, a new day waiting to be born. We are one in the devotion, naked in the truth for all time. We are moved by the emotion. We are one We are living in God's love. Feels like our hearts are finally opening. Forgiveness rains down like a flood. We are one in the devotion, naked in the truth for all time. We are moved by the emotion. We are one with the divine, standing in the light, arms held open wide, emerging from the night, fears all set aside. No day quite as bright, no place left to hide. Everything is right, and here we will abide. We are one in the devotion, naked in the truth for all time. We are moved by the emotion. We are one with the divine. We are drenched in the devotion, naked in the truth for all time. We are moved by the emotion. We are one with the divine. We are one with the divine. We are one with the divine.
I had a dream, I was wading in the water. Suddenly peace washed over me, and I was one with every precious son and daughter, and it was freely up to me to live forever as one who remembers to be the voice, the heart, the mind of the divine. When I am walking with my back to the sun, casting shadows on the ground, though I may falter, there is no harm done. And if I simply turn around, I can be forever someone who remembers to be the voice, the heart, the mind of the divine. Am I servant or master?
Hey, everybody. I've got Daniel Nahmod in my studio. Welcome, Daniel.
And I've got you in my studio. Thank you. Thank you for having me. The origin of the song One Power, in a non-literal sense, was the kid I always was, the person I always was, the beliefs I always had. But the guy who wrote that song had arrived in LA, had sung for in a bunch of places, had lived in LA making a living making music for a year or two. And I had just come back, I believe, from singing at a church of some kind in the valley, in San Fernando Valley, north of LA. And on the drive home, I believe the minister on that Sunday had used the word power, is the best recollection I've got. And I thought power, for whatever reason, it just tickled my head. Lyrics, for me, songs come from phrases. A phrase feels pregnant or interesting to me, and I write it. So I've written thousands of songs. Most of them are not any good whatsoever, and I will never subject anybody to them. But the word power was going on in my mind. On my drive home from that performance, I thought of, that there's really only one power. If you believe in a God, then it seems absurd to suggest that some people were made by that God, but other people weren't. That seems contradictory. And it also seems absurd, and it has always seemed absurd, that one group has a monopoly on God or on the nature of God, whatever God is, if God exists at all, whatever God is. It doesn't make sense that God created or favored some and excluded or disfavored others. That never made sense to me. And I started noodling around with one power as a mantra of some kind. And I came home and started writing that song. And I will say, of all the songs I've written, that would be, I'm pretty sure, among the handful of the hardest to write, because as I started thinking about the different names that people give it, the list got longer and more complex. And I did end up removing some, mostly for the sake of songwriting craft. I was aware as I was writing it that there are words that are too loaded to put in there. Meaning I'm always very conscious. Even I was far from the songwriter I am today, after 25 years of practice. But even then, I intuitively knew that if you throw in a particularly controversial word, let's say, or graphic word, that you are going to lurch a room, an audience, out of whatever feeling you're hoping to conjure. So in this case, for example, the original draft of One Power had "it's your money" as another word for God, as something else that people worship. 100% true. I stand by it. But I thought, if I put that in there, 20% of the room is going to be jarred out of what I hope to be, a real moment of clarity, because that song is what I sometimes call, a few minutes of making the walls invisible for a few minutes at a time. That's what that song is intended to do. Every single time I sing it, my vision is that for those 4 minutes, 5 minutes sometimes, depending how slow I sing it, for those few minutes, the world is a more unified and less combative place. And I say that knowing that when I'm done, more or less the world snaps back to wherever it was before I started. I don't have a grand illusion of some difference I'm making by singing it, but that doesn't stop the part of me that wrote it and believes it from meaning it every time. The cynic in me does not let the other half of me sell the notion that I'm changing the world by singing it. But the dreamer in me who wrote the song absolutely intends to change the world with it every single time. So it is a thinking person's song, and it's also a feeling person's song. In my life, it's both sides of me. It's also a little bit of a cynical song. It's got a little edge to it. It does not go over well everywhere. It is not neutral. It does. I have been asked not to sing it in a couple of places, a couple of more traditional religious settings. because traditional religions do not agree with the premise of that song. It is not just the power of the love in you and me. No, no, no. It is very specifically the God that we worship that is the only real God, and all the rest of the world is wrong. So every so often I will be told, please don't sing that because it is in conflict with what we believe.
Wow.
So I stand by it at the deepest possible level, and it is still, and it has always been, my my worldview and my internal compass, that if somebody is nice to themselves, to others, to animals, to the earth, if somebody is kind, then I don't care what religion they're in. And if somebody is not kind, then I don't care what religion they're in. So that leaves me with not caring what religion they're in. You're either walking around helping, guiding, encouraging, smiling, touching in a good way, respecting, growing, or, and we're all, by the way, both of these things, or you're leaving a victim in your wake. If you're leaving a victim in your wake, I don't care if you're religious, whatever religion you are, then there's betterment to be had or to be made. So these are just to paraphrase a movie, Jerry Maguire, these are the ABCs of me. This is something that's always been true for me. So when I sing it, it comes from a very, very deep place, and I never, ever phone it in. It's not show business for me. It is, as I said in the introduction to my performance there in Denver, it is what I came to say. And I'd like to think it's how I came to be, even if inconsistently.
Thank you, Daniel.
Yeah,
yes,
you're welcome.
Tearing down walls. That's what the song does. So now let's hear the second set of our show. Both songs are of one power. In the first song will be by Daniel Nahmod himself at Mile High Church in 2022. The second song will be by the Mile High Singers in 2019, performing the same song.
Happy Sunday. I've got a few songs to sing for you today, and we'll start with one that I have sung here before. As far as I can tell, it will never stop being a central thing that I came to say with my music. It's who I am, and I hope you enjoy this song. There's one power, invisible, and just see it everywhere and every day. One power, indescribable, and just speak of it with every word you say. Mysterious until you know the truth. As simple as the love inside of you. Call it God, call it Spirit, call it Jesus, call it Lord, call it Buddha, Baha'u'llah, angel's wings, or heaven's door. But whatever name you give it, it's all one power, can't you see? It's the power of the love in you and me. We speak so many languages, different clothing, different colors, different names. Different is only dangerous when we forget that in the heart we're all the same. We'll remember once we close our eyes to see that such distances were never meant to be. Call it God, call it Spirit, or Jesus or Lord. Call it Buddha, Baha'u'llah, Hashem, or Heaven's Door. It's Mohammed, it's your mind, it's your soul, or it's your sign. It's the universe, it's music, Mother Earth, or Father Time. But whatever name you give it, it's all one power, can't you see? Whatever name you give it, it's the very air we breathe. Oh, it's the power of the love in you and me. One power, yeah. One power is what we are. One power. It's the moment of creation. It's an everlasting peace. It's the freedom of forgiveness. It's the sweetness of release. It's the joy of inspiration. It's the sunshine on your face. It's the birthright of all nations. It's the boundlessness of space. It's the beauty of a baby. The serenity of sleep. It's the anger we abandon. For it's love that's most deep. It's one power. What we are is it's the power of the love that lives forever in you and me. It's the power of the love in you and me.
The second song in this set are the Mile High Singers in a special 2019 performance of One Power, including singers Troy Horn, Barry Ebert, Jennifer Burnett, Gianna Nietheimer, and Tom Litch, performing the Daniel Nahmod song One Power. And you'll hear what Daniel has to say about this song later in our show. So let's watch this video.
One power, one power, one power. There's one power, it's invisible, yet you see it everywhere and every day. One power, indescribable, yet you speak it with every word you say. It's mysterious until you know the truth. It's as simple as the love inside of you. Call it God, call it Spirit,
Call it Jesus, call it Lord.
call it Buddha, Baha'u'llah, angel's wings or heaven's door.
But whatever name you give it,
It's all one power, can't you see? It's the power of the love in you and me.
one power, one power, one power.
We speak so many languages, different clothing, different colors, different names. But different is only dangerous when we forget that in our hearts we're all the same. We'll remember once we close our eyes to see that such distances were never meant to be. Call it God, call it Spirit, call it Jesus, call it Lord.
Call it Buddha, Baha'u'llah, angel's wings or heaven's door.
It's Muhammad, it's your mind, it's your soul, or it's your sign. It's the universe, it's music, Mother Earth or Father Time.
Whatever name you give it, it's all one power, can't you see?
Whatever name you give it, it's the very air we breathe. The power of the love in you and me.
One power, one power, one power.
One power, one power. It's the moment of creation. It's an everlasting peace. It's the freedom of forgiveness. It's the sweetness of release.
It's the joy of inspiration. It's the sunshine on your face. It's the birthright of all nations. And it's the boundlessness of space.
It's the beauty of a baby, the serenity of space. It's the anger you abandon for the love that's most deep. It's one power. One power. What we are is one power. One power. It's the power of the love forever in you and me.
It's the power of the love
in you and in
So Daniel, can you comment on the performance videos? One that was you at the piano, the Mile High Band in January 2022, and the second one that we saw was One Power performed at a special Christmas holiday kind of event with a round robin of Mile High lead singers. Your
Yeah.
comments on those videos?
I almost never watch performances of my own. Never. I mean, I'm no more comfortable than the next guy or gal in looking at pictures of myself or videos of myself. So my first thought was, wow, I've gained a lot of weight since my son was born. So that's the last 10 years. And I blame him completely, even though he's he and my wife are tied for the prettiest things in the world. And they're not things, but you know what I mean. So that's my first thought. My second thought is that it really is a kick to sing the song with a not just a band, but also such a good band. That is, I've sung the song in every conceivable setting, and I sing it on guitar sometimes. I do it on piano sometimes. Mostly I do it solo. Sometimes I do it in a whisper. Sometimes I do it in a shout, so to speak. The song has also evolved quite a bit. So if I watch a full performance or listen to a full performance, I could actually tell you probably within a couple of years when that performance was, because certain phrases change meanings over time. As you can imagine, singing "It's the Beauty of a Baby," took on new resonance for me when Jude was born at the end of 2011. I also, depending on what is going on in the world, when I sing the line, it's the birthright of all nations. I have sung that song now for 21 years or so, and the birthright of all nations will sometimes summon in my mind a country that's going through some terrible conflict. Recently, I've thought of Ukraine every time I've sung that song, and that just tells you or reveals to you something which is just true about me, which is that I'm actually singing every line consciously, which is why I'm exhausted afterwards, and why I will tend to eat too much sugar after a show of any kind, because when I'm singing that song, I am meaning every line. I'm thinking about every line. I mean, I guess my mind will sometimes wander, but I'll never think about baseball. I mean, I'll even think, if I'm thinking about anything, it's what song comes after this, or what did we arrange with the band so that am I changing keys or changing tempos here? But otherwise, I am processing each line as I'm singing it. And I imagine, I hope you and people watching that video can feel that. That's not me pretending to care or pretending to mean it. So that's my thought about that video, is that it's cool to be on such a beautiful stage with such a beautiful piano and such a talented band, mostly. And the performance of the group, the ensemble singers, Jennifer and so on, and Tom and the whole team there. That is a kick for me to hear. I mean, it's a complicated thing for me to listen to. I don't mean complicated in any. Well, I mean, it is a complicated thing. Emotionally, it's a complicated thing. For one thing, they did a beautiful job. So in that sense, it's beautiful to hear. It's also kind of a little. It's a touch overwhelming, always to consider that on any given day, people all over the world are singing my songs. So that's not something I can really quite wrap my head around. So when I see a video of it, that's kind of like proof. Like I don't have to imagine it. I can just look at it, and it's a little weird, a little surreal. It's also interesting to hear how singers interpret individual lines. It's also interesting to hear how singers change individual words, because they are inevitably going to do that. I'm sure I do it, and to other people's songs, and even in that performance, little words, individual words from A to the, and that kind of thing. So it's just interesting to hear how a song evolves when it's coming out of someone else's body and mind and voice. So it's moving, and it's interesting. It's like I'm studying. What are you going to do with that note? Are you going to go where I went, or you go somewhere else? There are choices you make as a singer, and I'm listening to those choices and wondering what's coming next. So it kind of tickles my mind that way. And the last thing I'll say is that as a songwriter, I have a lot of. I'm pleased with what I've done over the last 20-something years, and I feel like I've made a positive impact or difference but I also have a lot of goals unachieved. And one of those goals is to hear a handful of my songs sung by a handful of the great singers in, I don't say the world, because I don't know the whole world, but certainly in European and American music. It would be my it would be my dream, and frankly even more so my wife's dream, to hear One Power. I don't know if One Power would be a good fit, but one of my songs sung by Celine Dion, one of her favorites, maybe her very favorite, actually. I remember I met Stevie Wonder once, and I shook his hand and I thanked him for his incredible music. And just when we parted, I realized that I did not say, "Can I sing you a song?" He would have said no. He was busy, but I still wish I'd asked him, because I do imagine Stevie Wonder singing One Power or one of these songs of mine, because Stevie Wonder's been singing about love, his entire professional life. And when Ray Charles died, it sounds random to say, but I remember thinking Ray Charles would have loved One Power, I think. You understand? So when I hear talented singers singing my song, there's another aspect of it, that it is both a dream fulfilled and a reminder of dreams unrealized. It's both at the same time. So if you ask me how it feels to watch it, the answer is it's not actually such a simple, straightforward answer. I have multiple feelings and thoughts all at the same time.
Here's some essential facts about the events of the live launch and LPs. Tickets are now available for the live release concert, which will be at the Unity Center of San Diego. You can also watch it streaming. It's slated for Sunday, October 16th, 2022, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. The link to buy the tickets will be in the Show More section of this YouTube video.